Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are coming here for the first time, I am Dr. Bundi. I'm also known as the Wellness Doctor, and I make content based on or that talks about mental health and wellness. For those guys who are returning, my day ones, thank you so much for coming back. Today I've got something really interesting to talk to you about. And as you can see, I have a guest here with me. She's been an amazing lady that I've worked with, and we will talk more about what we've been working on together. But Karibu Ankiza.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and excited you invited me to be on the show.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And first of all, kickboxing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great way of moving energy through the body and taking care of the mind and the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, Ankiza is just about to tell us some fun facts about herself. So stay tuned for that. The first question is, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Oh, I love kickboxing. I am a martial arts enthusiast. So in my spare time, I am learning some new martial art skill.
I did not expect that. What's the best advice anyone gave you?
To always be true to yourself. My dad is a big believer in as long as you can sleep at night, knowing that you're being honest and authentic with who you are, then all will be well.
That's fantastic. What is your biggest fear?
I think my biggest fear is linked to what I was told as a young girl. It's just finding myself where I no longer am true or living my truth, and feeling like I am here fully expressing what I was meant to do on this planet.
Okay, that's fantastic. What is your best travel destination? Either somewhere you've been or somewhere you hope to go.
I think it has to be Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii, but somehow just the waterfall, being around water or surrounded by it, and the culture. I think it's got such a rich culture. I love it. I would love to go there.
Would you rather read a book or watch a movie?
That's tricky. I would rather have like audio book, like listen to a book.
What's your favorite audio book or the one that you recently read that really struck a chord with you?
So it's by Mark Manson, The Art of Not Giving a F. And it was really good. It really broke down, in my opinion, just life skills you need to hack, especially in your 20s and 30s. To just be able to move ahead and hopefully have success in your life, however that looks like for you.
Lastly, what's your most memorable moment?
It has to be the birth of my son. I think that was a life-changing moment. In that instant, I realized my life would never be the same again.
Yeah, so you are like one of the most interesting people I've ever met, and I wanted to just ask you, what made you, what got you to where you are right now? What's your background?
So my background, I'm a psychologist and sociologist, and also studied international relations, but I really always had a passion for healing, wellness, and well-being. I'm also very passionate about healthcare, and what really motivated me was the fact that I grew up in a family with a grandmother who had bipolar disorder. And I actually spent a whole childhood unaware that she had bipolar. It's much later on in life that as a family we came to understand that grandma's erratic behaviors wasn't just because grandma was difficult, but it was because she had a mental health condition. Wow. So that was really a key thing for me, and I realized there must be so many other people like me who grew up in families unaware that parents, sisters, friends, brothers are living with mental health conditions.
Yeah, that's really struck a chord with me because I've mentioned on my channel before that my grandmother has got debilitating depression and anxiety. And I say debilitating because it's gotten to the point where she has no energy to eat, she has no energy to get out of bed, she started wasting away. But we caught her, we were so lucky to catch her depression much earlier before it got to this point. we took her to the psychiatrist, and I got to see how her life changed when she started taking the medication. So it's just a similarity that I was like, wow, it's amazing that you don't know what somebody's going through.
Exactly.
But Ankiza is here not only to share with us about her personal experiences, but to talk about coaching. And the reason why I am so happy you're doing this is because I think a lot of people need coaching, but they don't know that they need coaching. So you're here, of course, representing a brand called Inuka. Could you maybe tell us what Inuka is all about?
Yeah.
How would you describe who Inuka are?
Yeah. So Inuka really came about, and I run Inuka's CEO, Inuka Africa. It came about, I think we've all heard the statistic that 1 in 4 Kenyans are living with stress, anxiety, or depression. However, over 90% never get help because of lack of access of healthcare, really high costs of care, and stigma. So Inuka was designed as a digitized, anonymous, and affordable mental health support system for people who just simply want to log onto their phones, access quality mental health care, the touch of a button.
Wow. So when you say mental health care, because I know Inuka is a little bit different. Is it therapy? Does it offer therapy, or what does it offer?
Yeah, so the differences between therapy, maybe I'll go into that. So therapy, also known as psychotherapy or counseling, is done by a healthcare professional, number one. Also, number two, a lot of the time in a therapy session, you will look a lot at the past and study subconscious, conscious mind to understand why you may have feelings, behaviors, or actions that are acting out and maybe not helping you in your present situation. But a lot of it is based on the past. In coaching, coaching is not given by a mental health professional or any healthcare professional, but we really focus on where you are now. So I would look at you today and say, okay, this is where you are and where do you want to be in the future? So coaching is more goal-oriented, it's solution-oriented, and we're there to give you skills to help you make the steps you need to have a better and healthier life.
Okay, so Inuka basically is offering coaching through the comfort of your own phone.
Exactly.
And it's text-based,
Yeah.
right? Right, so I hope that difference is coming up very clearly to you guys. To me, I think I've been interacting with the brand, so I'm very familiar. But tell us about I know it's a scientific-based method. Tell us about the Inuka method.
So it comes from our co-founder, Professor Dixon Chibanda. For those who haven't gone on TED Talk, on YouTube, please look at his TED Talk on how he trained grandmothers to treat depression. So he is one of 17 psychiatrists in Zimbabwe who realized that there was just not enough help available. So he trained everyday men and women in order to provide care for stress, anxiety, and depression symptoms. Not clinical depression, but depression symptoms. So he designed a clinical trial where he brought over 500 women together, and he partnered them up with coaches, laymen and women, people who did not necessarily have a background in psychology or any kind of psychotherapy. And what he found after a 6-month period was that that group was doing better or even as good as the group that had been assigned to psychologists. So in that, and it's published in the Journal of American Medical Association, we've also been published in a pilot study we did in Kenya, in Githurai. We were published in the Global Health Journal. So we have a lot of data to show that when it comes to treating stress, anxiety, and depression symptoms, it's very effective. So it gets people from what we call at risk of now going into very acute cases of clinical depression, even burnout, back to mentally resilient after 4 coaching sessions, which is about 60 minutes per session.
Wow, so guys, it's scientific, it has been researched, the method works. And I think you mentioned something about at risk and how do you gauge people? Is there a way you guys gauge how is this person's well-being, and how do you even track their progress when they are doing Inuka coaching?
I think you know very well that it's so hard to track your mental health because it's something we don't see. I always use the analogy that if I cut myself It's very clear if I need to go to hospital,
Yeah.
if I need to just put a band-aid over it at home, or what I should do. But it's very hard with our mental health to know what to do. So we have what we call a well-being scan. It's very simple, 5 minutes, 20 questions, and one clear result. And you are either mentally resilient, at risk of stress, anxiety, or depression, or in a tough place. In a tough place means now you are probably having suicidal ideation and very much in need of a psychological help. Yeah.
So guys, I've personally taken the well-being scan. It shouldn't scare you. It's not like a major test. It's just a series of very simple questions whereby from the answers you give, they can be able to gauge where you're at. As she said, they can say that you're at risk, you know, or you're resilient. And as you do the coaching on Inuka, they can track and see, are you moving from at risk to resilient? So I actually like that very objective kind of way of tracking people who are using Inuka. So moving on, I wanted to just talk a little bit about work-related stress, because I know you work a lot with organizations, and for me, even in my own personal working experience, a lot of my patients are coming to me because they've got stress, and the stress is because of their work. So how does work-related stress manifest, or even burnout? How does, in your experience, how does it manifest?
Yeah. So before COVID, I had done an article in it, and I had analyzed about 36% of employees in any workforce are already at risk. With COVID now, we're seeing this number double. So over 50% of any workforce in any company right now is at risk of stress, anxiety, or depression, or burnout. And we find people start exhibiting very odd behaviors. So you might find if you're very stressed at work, you become irritable. You might find your relationships with your colleagues or even those at home start to suffer. You might find certain addictive behaviors coming out, maybe emotional eating, maybe drinking, maybe binging, or whatever other issues may be coming out. So it's very hard for most people to say I'm stressed because they feel they have a coping mechanism, but it only becomes an issue when that coping mechanism is negative. So it's harming you severely or affecting now your ability to just have good relationships and feel good about yourself. Yeah.
So when you start noticing those things, then you know that you're not really coping, right?
Yeah.
And so for people who want to find out, how do I cope with this work-related stress? What are good coping mechanisms that you would recommend?
So number one, I always say check within your organization also what kind of tools or support tools are available. We often are very afraid to go to HR to ask, but there are tools that employees do provide. Yeah? It doesn't have to be therapy for those who are afraid of therapy, but even Inuka, for example, we partner with organizations to make sure on the comfort of your own home, whatever time, you can log onto your phone, log onto WhatsApp or via our app, and connect with a coach who will listen, who will give you guidance on how do I get from point A to point B. But generally also for those that have acute stress is what we call burnout. At that point you are no longer able to work. It is like a car that has run out of fuel. You are going nowhere. And in those cases we provide referrals. So referrals to psychologists and psychiatrists, and we work to support you through it. But often with burnout, I don't know if you've heard the expression HALT, H-A-L-T. To prevent that, it means if you're hungry, eat. If you're angry, make sure you maybe reach out to a friend or a loved one, have a conversation about it. If you are lonely, also engage with colleagues and speak with them, etc. And if you're tired, rest. We don't listen to the basic signals our body's giving us before we go downhill into burnout. And it's as simple as, people miss meals during work when they're stressed. They don't reconnect with loved ones for long periods of time because I have to finish urgent deadlines. I can't sleep. I'm going to bed at midnight and waking up at 3 a.m. So we're really ignoring our body's basic survival tips and mechanisms.
I love that. Guys, halt. I think for me, I know you watched my video where I talked about burnout, and I literally just had to do that. I had to stop I had to connect with friends. I took a small trip to the coast. I even took some time off work. I couldn't go on in, like, I physically, it's the way you're saying, a car that can't move, I could not move. So I really hope if there's anything you guys have taken from this whole video, is that if you're feeling burnt out and it's because of your work, you're not being productive if you just keep pushing and drudging on. Just take a break, right? So as we sum up, I'm sure everybody at this point is so interested in Inuka. I'd like to know, how are you guys, how do you ensure that the coaches give this standardized care? Because are they random, are they trained, is there some kind of way to ensure that they're doing, is there an Inuka way that the coaches are?
Yeah.
What would you say about that?
So the good thing with our coaches is we pick them based on certain skill sets. Empathy, the ability to have empathy, to relate and understand somebody else, the ability to listen, to other people, share and to communicate. But most importantly, we train them in the Inuka method, which again is based on our co-founder, Professor Dixon Chibanda, who has done extensive published research on how to train people to help those with stress, anxiety, and depression. And then because we are a digital solution, we have an inbuilt supervision system, which means all our coaches are supervised by therapists.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So
Just a
they
minute. Let me turn off that fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all our coaches, we'll pick up from all
Yeah.
our coaches are supervised by therapists.
Yeah.
Okay, it's gone.
Yeah. So I go?
Yeah, good.
So all our coaches are supervised by therapists, and this is how we ensure standardized quality. Again, because we are chat-based, we get transcripts of conversations. Therapist is able to review what is being said and also coach the coach to make sure then that they are continuously learning and improving how they coach clients.
Oh, that's fantastic. And how much is this service? Because I'm sure people always think,
Yeah.
sounds too good to be true. Maybe it would break my bank. How much?
So we are the cheapest service on the market. We charge 625 Kenya shillings for a 60-minute session. So right now, I would say we are doing our best to make it affordable. Our vision really as Inuka Coaching is to make mental health support accessible for every Kenyan, for everyone.
All right.
And to do that, we are very price sensitive.
That's fantastic. 625 is, I would say, not bad. And lastly, I think as we are getting to the tail end of the conversation, I just wanted to know, how does one get Inuka? Is it an app? Is there a number that we connect with? How does one get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, so we're available on Google Play Store, where you can download our app under Inuka Wellness. There is also a WhatsApp number that we can leave in the description box below. And we are available also by voice coaching, and that number also will be available below.
All right.
Yeah.
Guys, I think personally, I get so many messages from you guys asking me, where can I get help? Where can I get coaching? Now you have it, a simple solution that can work even from the comfort of just your phone. And I would just like to say that if you are resonating with this video, if you are going through burnout, work-related stress, why don't you try Inuka? Why don't you just try and see if talking to a professional coach is what could be the game changer? I think a lot of people suffer in silence, but when these opportunities are presented, they don't jump on them. So I urge you, try it out, and I'd really like to hear your feedback. So let me know if you've tried Inuka, how's it worked for you? It would really help us moving forward. Ankiza, thank you so much for coming on to my channel, and I'm sure we'll be seeing her face a lot on this platform, even out there, because she's doing amazing work for the brand. And so yeah, do you have any parting shots before we sign off?
Yeah, I think I would just like to repeat, you are not alone. So many of us feel that we are alone with our problems, with our challenges, and it doesn't have to be that way. Somebody is willing to walk that journey of life with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like to add on that and say that it's okay not to be okay. I keep saying that, and I will keep saying that. There's nothing wrong with you for what you're going through. You're not a bad employee.
Or a bad mother.
or a bad mother,
bad
or
father, yeah.
yeah, you just probably need some help. Okay, so guys, as usual, I wish you a good one. Love and light to you all. Please remember to share this video because somebody might need it. Also, please remember to subscribe. Subscribing is free. Subscribing is free. But thank you once again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.